Hey guys, Scope here. Just want to jump on and apologise nice and early for some audio issues that we've had in this episode. It happened last episode. We didn't realise at the time what was going on, but it looks as though I've bumped the table. We've had a chat to the studio and it's been rectified, and it won't be happening again for the episodes coming up. So apologies again. It happens a couple of times throughout the episode, but I hope you can still enjoy the core part of the show. This is the Levels Network. I'm Justin Horo, joined by the Triple OG, Willie Mason. OG.
What's going on?
Feeling a bit sore.
Yeah, I know. When you picked me up this morning, I was like, and you could barely laugh and you wanted to laugh. And I was like, I remember having rib cartilage damage back when we were just reminiscing on our careers. And I was like, they're worse than broken ribs.
Yuck.
They're worse.
I've got a name for you too.
Hey, there's no physio. There's nothing that you can do. It's just time.
You know what? Also, I was thinking about this too, and I just remembering as we're talking about it. It's one of those injuries too where some play straight away, and then I remember for me, we had a week off, and then you've just got to start needling it. I ended up getting needled on the second week, and you just remember, like now that we're so far removed from it. Remember how fucking tough these rugby league players and athletes are in general and have to do this shit?
We're pussies now.
Yeah, we are pussies. Like, I am sore and I don't have to do anything now. Like, as much as it sucks that I got that injury on the weekend, and I'm going to do a husky try in a bit, and I'm thinking about how tough I'm going to be if I get on a bike. We're about to talk about these players that go through this. Multiple players will have this injury throughout the season and either not miss a game or play needled up for about 2 or 3. By the way, the needle doesn't do anything.
Doesn't do nothing.
It numbs in and around the area for a little bit, and then it goes away by 10 minutes into the game?
One little movement.
One movement. So I've got a name for you too. So a couple of the boys reached out to me. One of them is a teammate of Muzzy, Musgrave. He was talking about Musgrave. Yeah. He goes, mate, basically he didn't want to chase the dream anymore. That's why he ain't playing. Best bloke, absolute weapon, weighs 120 kilos, plays centres in first gear. He reckons he just cruises. He goes,
whenever how big this guy was.
That's it. Haven't you seen him, bro? He used to play for the Knights. I think he used to play for the Knights. And he's dominated the Nines the last couple of years. Fast, fit, strong. Anyway, so...
What are you running at him for?
No, it wasn't him who got me.
Oh, okay, sorry.
It wasn't him. We didn't play him, but this is a teammate of his. But he let me know. He goes, the dude that snapped you plays hooker for Newcastle at hooker. Broken whack. And his name is Mitch New. So I need a new rib cartilage. Thanks to Mitch.
Thanks for that.
He also said give Tom DeMayo a shout out. He was for the Southside Dogs. He was the player of the tourney as well. So shout out to the boys at the Southside Dogs and shout out to Mitch.
Yeah, and I don't think people realise how. Yeah, sorry, go.
Yeah, last night we did the. I went to. I'm having a blank. And
where'd you go to?
Got the treatment done with you yesterday.
Oh yeah, we went down to Elite Body Recovery, Maroubra Junction
in Maroubra. So it was too good. And what I mean by that was
red light therapy. Tell me what you did.
Yeah, so I went and had red light therapy in the bed, and then a sauna into cold plunges back and forth. When I left, 10 out of 10. I felt grouse. But I think what's happened, and this is me not having no medical experience or whatever, education, my body become way too relaxed because it was so good. You know, the muscles
red
soften up.
Red light's a fucking killer, man. It's the best.
And everything around it since the injury has just been tense. It's like clenched up going, that's sore, don't worry, all the rest of the muscles around it will look after it. After I had the therapy yesterday, I was sleeping last night. Oh, I got the worst sleep just because everything was so relaxed. So like, if I didn't have that injury, it's the best ever. But it just relaxed everything. So,
it's crazy. Imagine if we had something like, I'll just say, I mean, it did come in the late part of our careers, but like, there's no real excuse for you not recovering right now. As an NRL player, man, your body is, as I said, your best ability is availability. Yeah. And these are everywhere. Like elite recovery down at Maroubra Junction, that's the best thing that's happened in Maroubra Junction for me.
That'd be getting,
because I get a haircut there, I shop down there, I train at E-Lab, I walk down to get, I walk
shout out to
fresh,
Justin from the boys.
I walk down there and then I walk across the road and that elite recovery's there. Like red light therapy, they got cold plunges, saunas. Oh, everything. Normatex. The amount of stuff that they got there, I feel so fucking much better.
You're right. There is no excuses for the modern day player.
The modern day player. If you do those three times a week, bro, easy. And these guys want you in there.
Yeah.
They want you in there. You know what I mean? To promote their, they're not going to say, put it on Instagram or anything, but they just want you in there, all these players. They go, do you know Latrell? Do you know all these South players? I do know them, but I'm not going to. It's up to them if they want to go in there. They do their own thing anyway. They're always going to some sort of place, but fuck, I'll be in there most days.
Back in the day, you're in garbage bins and whatnot. These centre of excellences that are being built, how much of an advantage is
Bro,
that?
wait till the Bulldogs Centre of Excellence is built. I've seen the blueprint. It's crazy. It's going to be like, obviously, the next one who builds it, they just
a little bit better.
They're just a little bit better than the next one. So I think we're going to have per square foot is the biggest one in Australia.
I'd love like a ranking system of it. Like
we're going to fucking win.
Independently goes out and reviews what the clubs have.
Like Double Bay and Triple Bay. If Tigers do it, Bulldogs do it a little bit better.
Yeah, well, that's what's
Parra's
happening.
getting built. The Broncos have got their one.
Hairdresser in there, though.
The Broncos has already been done, right? And Penrith has already.
Broncos the OGs.
Yeah, but I've seen this one, and it's ridiculous. Yeah. It's the Belmore, the hillside of Belmore.
Yes.
That whole thing is it.
Well.
Start going from the back, and all the back bit, the park, and everything is going to be all. Man, it's part of the recruitment tool now.
Yes,
right. You need to have these kids. So these young kids are coming in 17, just say 17 years old, finish school. Just say when I was 17, I finished school, come down to Belmore, going, fuck it, who cares? My dream is to play NRL. I don't give a fuck where I am. I'm walking the streets of Belmore, going, where the fuck am I? But now you go down there, and it was still old school like it is right now. Belmore was still old school, but times have changed, mate. These 17-year-old kids are going, fucking Parramatta's way better. The Tigers is way better. Penrith is way better. You know what I mean? And the fathers are having influence on it as well. So you need that to get these kids, like the best 17, 18-year-olds in the country, right? Because they're looking at that. They want all this recovery and all the cool-looking shit. But
what about the 100-gamer with 3 premierships like Jerome Luai coming from that Penrith centre? It would have
been a factor.
It would have been a huge shortcut that Tigers had a good set. I haven't even been to the Tigers one.
It's pretty good.
Shane Richardson's removed the hairdressers too, by the way. They're gone.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He took out the barber's chair.
Why?
You're not here for haircuts.
Not here for haircuts.
I see. Oh, that's a bit. It ain't the fucking haircuts problem.
He said it was too much of an expense for the club. So it sounded like
bro, you come in once a week and you're paying $500.
That's a mentality thing. 100%.
That's bullshit.
So I understand a little bit of it, but look good, play good too, man.
Yeah,
Whenever I had a haircut,
these young kids are like that.
I was feeling the Mickey. I maybe train harder.
If they finish top 4 or top 8, no one's giving a fuck about who's getting a haircut.
No, their hairdresser's still there doing his thing.
Oh, mate. But once they build that, I'm getting Ahmed in there, man.
Yeah, get Ahmed and the boys
in there. Ahmed Ali once a week go in there and cut all the brothers' hair, and you fucking look sick.
You know, do you reckon does Ali get a haircut every day? His hair is never out of line in there too.
No, it's this every day.
I reckon he goes in there before he starts working and bang, he always looks the mick, like it's always fresh.
He's his fresh looking cat.
He's got his little lick.
He's 20 years old too.
He's got his little lick.
Him and Ahmed, they got a good thing going down there.
Shout out to the boys. Also, I want to give a shout out, and I only seen the clip so far, but we had a message from Andrew Webster, not the coach, by the way.
What about the journo, Webby?
Not the journo.
Yeah. He's going to the Australian, that.
Yeah, this is Andrew Webster, the YouTube commentator. Commentator. That's commentator. That's still strong. Anyway, it's Andrew Webster.
It's Webby. It's Web Dog.
Just saw the buy round with Ogre and 6-9 round. I mean this with all due respect. Ogre just looks like an absolute prick to play against. He just looks like a dog. Can imagine him just tackling me and then spraying me with 1,000 swear words. I seen the clip when he was talking about not talking to players, and it got me fired up, and it reminded me of the best parts of Manly.
Yeah, man. He's one of one. The Ogre, one of one. It's still the same. This is Ogre at a 2 out of 10.
Yeah,
compared to what he was like. He had for him to go into society as a normal human. You can't be like that.
Yeah,
that kid is cut from a different cloth.
Yeah,
and he had a tough upbringing, and they never really mentioned that. They never really deep dove into his upbringing and everything like that. It was just more about the 04 premiership, right?
Well, I seen a comment, and one of the comments was, got to get Ogre back, and I think Charlie replied on behalf of the Byron.
I know.
They're going to do a one-on-one and
get him on a potty where it's like get into the Ogre's mind. You know, like where he's from, what he's cut from, how his upbringing was, mate. It's a fucking different beast, that guy. And then you'll realise what the man is.
Yeah.
He's 16, 17 year old, 2 kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No money, from Lake Mamora out West Wyalong where he's from. His story is unbelievable.
You know who he reminds me of just in that one clip? And I know like different styles of player, but the same sort of toughness, the same sort of like us against the world mentality. He reminds me of Gifty.
Yeah, man.
The one when I got to get like, that's the mentality Gifty would have. It's like, fuck everyone else.
Ogre.
It's all about
Ogre
us.
changed the culture of the club when he got there.
Yeah. And that's what I reckon.
Yeah.
Like the Stewart brothers in particular, Glenn Stewart was a huge part of like the mentality why Manly was so great.
Yeah.
After the back end of your
People
run.
get slept on Manly how dominant they were.
Yeah.
They just didn't win like 4 grand finals like Penrith. Penrith's just making everyone look stupid because of the 4. But like Manly was dominant.
They won 2 in 5 years.
From 06, 07, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Like they're top 4 teams all the time. They're a great club.
And you know Gifty. So
I love Gifty.
Would you agree that...
I couldn't compare them both, no.
Is it like a similar mentality though? Do you understand where I'm going
I
with
understand the mentality. Just like, just fucking get the job done.
But the physicality...
Shut up. Different positions. Gifty had a mad skill set.
Yeah.
But like Ogre changed the whole like... There's some stories there that like that's why I always say like Ogre's like I want to leave Ogre as a mythical creature. I just want to tell stories about him and just put and uplift him. I don't want him on this show, and he doesn't want to come on. He goes Mase. Then it'll all be like broken. You know.
How long do you reckon you guys could go on a podcast?
We could sit here and talk for fucking 3 days. But like I want him to go on just say hello sports.
Yeah.
Those boys really deep dive and I had a really great podcast with those guys because they sit there and they ask you questions about your upbringing and what drives you and all that kind of stuff, the mentality and like Ogre's cut from a different cloth, man. He debuted when he was 17. No props to debuting when they're 17 in that era. You know what I mean?
That's true.
He come to our club, he changed the whole culture.
Yeah.
He I can't even say what he did the first time. He nearly said it on the thing when what he did. He goes, the first sort of piss up that we had. I went, don't go into that, mate.
You're gonna have to tell us after now. All right, this is my top question as well. I had this a little bit later, but now we're on the podcast stuff, and we're sort of just talking about our, I guess, with us not doing as many guest podcasts and going off like what you're talking about with Mark O'Mealy. So this one comes from Dean Hodges, and this is my comment or question of the week. Lads, big fan, but quick question regarding the little comments made about declining all the podcast requests. Do you guys feel the rugby league podcast...
like us as people,
Yeah, just in general.
Declining? Okay.
I'll finish it off and you'll get the gist of it. Do you guys feel the rugby league podcast media scene is dominated by old boys? And is there no room for anyone else who isn't an ex-player to make it in that space? Or do you feel there is still room for those lifelong and passionate fans to make it in the space alongside the ex-players? Love all the content and can't wait for Magic Round beer or 2. The reason I put this in, mate, so it's a really good question. And I guess when we were talking about like where we're at, and because we are in, we have our own podcast and we've sort of been around in this space for a while. Yeah. It's not as appealing to us, but there are still plenty of players that want to tell this story. But by all means, I think and being honest, I think it's harder to be a Tom and Eddie version of where they are. Like I think those guys hit it before anyone else, and because of the way they've. I guess not position themselves, but just because of who they are as people, it's super unique and you can't copy that. Yeah. So like they do a really good job of being authentic and they're just really good fun. Not saying that there's not funny people out there, but they hit the market before anyone else. They're really good at what they do. I think for the most part, doing guest podcasts, you've got to have some sort of profile because it helps initially bring the fans in. Mind you, I think there is still a space for their people to have podcasts who are super fans and copy the, Bloody Brilliant Beers model, the gurus of the world and Timmy's and the super coaches and all that, where you might not necessarily be able to get a whole heap of guests on because, like you said, Mase, you're only going to go to people that you're familiar with. Yeah. But if you want to talk, rugby league inside and out and have your opinion, there's definitely a space.
100%. I'm not saying that. You just need to know the game inside and out because, like, a lot of ex-players who do podcasts, we watch games, every single game, right? Every single minute of games. We know what's going on, like, in the landscape of rugby league. So if you are going to do a podcast, be fucking highly educated about the game.
Yeah.
You know, don't just have this real simple, one-minded fucking way of thinking, and just be. And if you're not funny, and if you or anything like that, you got to separate yourself somehow. And knowledge is that. If I'm watching a podcast, some young kid's doing that, and I'm like, shit, yeah, he fucking knows what he's talking about. I respect that.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I'm going to go on a podcast. I just don't. I'm never that podcasty sort of dude anyway.
Yeah.
But just say if you were going to start a podcast, be knowledgeable about the game.
For sure.
Everything about the game, from what the administration's doing, for what's going on in PNG, the Pacific Games, everything, what is going on, and you'll get respected highly within the NRL community. Because fuck, he knows his shit. Yep. Instead of just sitting on there and satirical sort of stuff, that's sort of, unless you're Tom and Eddie, you can do all that sort of stuff where they're fucking hilarious.
It's so funny.
The Brilliant Beers boys, all those sort of guys are doing some great jobs. They mix in a little bit of fun with a little bit of, just knock around bullshit.
Because I've seen some really good podcasts.
There's fucking real smart people out there, mate.
I've seen some guys that go around and interview, and they're doing it. It's a side project, and they've got to work as well, and they're trying to build that community. And I'm like, man, this podcast deserves more.
Yeah,
but it's just like it's
hard,
a struggle to get the views. So I'm not trying to kill anyone's dream. I'm just trying to be as honest as possible. That I think it's not impossible. It's so much harder for a non-athlete to get into the guest podcast, or a personality like Burris. He can get like the sort of guest that can immediately bring people in. Even like Knowlesy, for an example, right? Knowlesy's he's not a well known within the rugby league community fan wise, but within the community he's worked with fucking so many players. 30, so Knowlesy, there's a place for a guy like Knowlesy because he can get Ivan Cleary, he can get Willie Mason, he can even get fringe players like myself and all that sort of stuff. Whereas I reckon there's if you work on your editing skills and
Luke is too expensive for you guys.
No, but like a guy like Roasty and trying to beat guys like Roasty and Guru who love the game, have an opinion on the game, not over the top. I think there's a massive space out there.
Yeah, there's a huge
in any
space.
sport too.
In any sport, exactly. And this new media is only going to expand and get bigger and bigger and bigger. So if you are feeling about, or you want to start a podcast, just fucking start it.
Yeah.
See how it goes.
My counterpart, the Chaos Patrol, they're killing it.
Yeah.
They've had guests on. They've had Lockie Galvin on, Max King. They get all the. It's like because they're a bit younger, they can relate to that.
Yeah, I'm just at a different. I'm at a different level in my life. I'm 44 100%. Years old. I don't feel like going on podcasts anymore.
But they've done the reps. They're working hard. They do everything like that. It's not easy.
Yeah, they've been grinding for about 3 or 4 years, haven't they? Yeah.
And they're
good example.
So shout out to the Cast Patrol blokes like Hectic Fred. They've got their podcast that they do weekly. But everyone, comment below. Who's your favourite NRL podcast outside of sort of
who deserves more love? Who deserves more love for guys that are sort of been grinding for the last couple of years? That we'll give them a shout out on here because, like I said, I've gone and looked at and seen podcasts and they might only have a couple hundred views on it, and watch little clips of it and going, this is fucking really good. He's doing a good job. He just doesn't have the exposure, and it's whether we give it a shout out and it fucking gets to 500, it's not going to make a big difference, but. If there's someone out there grinding, let us know. Good question from Dean Hodges off the back of what we were talking about last week. That is the comment question of the week. All right, let's get to the replies. This one comes from Setis Notti. You guys were talking. Oh, yeah, here we go. This one. You guys were talking about the Titans 2021 game. We had a whole heap of messages about this. The guy who, well, in a way, blew it for him. It wasn't young Tonomapea. It was Paddy Herbert.
The winger.
He didn't make the pass to Corey Thompson.
That's what I knew it was that on the right side. He fucking dummied it and tried and go himself.
Yeah.
All he had to do was pass it.
I met Paddy Herbert on the weekend for the first time at the Nines. Absolute legend. I felt when I started seeing this comment, I was like, oh, I had a
he just thought he could score it himself.
Yeah, no, well, he double pumped, But
I'm just saying, he thought he could score himself.
Yeah,
like.
And the guy he didn't pass to, Corey Thompson. Corey Thompson was the guy. So he played in our Nines. I was chatting to Paddy Herbert, and you look at how things go sometimes with players' opportunities, right? So off the back of that, he's done. I believe he said he did his ACL. I think he's even done his ACL a couple of times in the last couple of years. So he's had a rough couple. And he goes all right, mate. We played him. He was strong as hell. Like he's a guy like. Again, we go back to talking about opportunities. Some of the guys we talked about, like Cole Labut, the Marshkis, the Musgrove, Like sometimes you've got a small little window of opportunity, and he was trending, going really well.
And then the Khan Pereiras and all this come up and overtook him.
Yep. Phil Sammy sort of, was in and out, and he sort of progressed. So, shout out to Paddy Herbert.
KC, Jojo,
and apologies to young Tonamapaya because we
threw him on he's at Melbourne, wasn't he?
Well, I'm pretty sure he was at the Titans for a little bit. Yeah, he might have gone away and come back. We could be completely wrong with that. Anyway, this one comes from My Stitch. I feel as if the Titans spine situation will eventuate similar to last year, where a dark horse will appear. Firmly believe Carter Gordon will work his way into the starting lineup somewhere by the end of the year. I mentioned this at the start when we first started talking about the Titans preview. I know they're excited about Carter Gordon. Good size, about 6'2", 6'3".
Is he that big?
95. He's big.
Jesus.
Yeah, he's big. He's
what position
solid.
are we talking for him? 5'8" or 5'8"? Lock?
Yeah. I think, they'll keep working and
see. Do you
see
see where Campbell goes to 7 and this kid goes to 6 when Fozzie goes?
Yeah, it depends how it all plays out.
But Campbell's got too much footy in him to fucking lock him in at 7. It'll really hamper his game. That's the only problem.
You don't think he could pull like a Ches sort of role?
Fuck no. No. Oh, mate, I don't know. I think he just got...
Ches, and what the example I'm using, Ches is like, Ches is in your traditional 7.
Yeah,
he's developed into a traditional 7, but like he used to just play ad-lib all the time off a short side.
But that's at the start, you could probably say he could have played fullback.
Yeah.
If Snake wasn't there.
Yeah.
Some games, if you want, because
like
he was fast.
Yeah.
Because he was quick. Back in the day, he was so hard to tackle, that prick.
He's strong.
Do you remember he kicked that field goal against us in Newcastle?
Yeah.
And I was chasing him out the back like a fucking defensive end with a sack, and he hits it from 40 out. I'm going to never forgive you for that, Ches. I don't know. I need Campbell a little bit wider because as a 7 now, man, you've got to conduct everything in the middle. You've got to, you're dropping players off, early ball to the 6. You're not really digging in the line that much. You see short sides. I just think it'll really hamper his growth, Campbell. I still don't know what position he is, but I know he's not I know he could play 7. I know that's not the future for him.
Okay, could you see...
Just want him to play 6.
Could you see something like Jaden Campbell happening, which happened to Dylan Brown last year, where like he starts playing 7 and then immediately the run game goes away? You know how like Dill just was so focused on, getting the team around the park that his best weapon was his run game, and you sort of just didn't
take
see
it out of him,
because he's got to think about so much different things that it sort of affects.
I need Campbell just not to really. I need to put him in a position which fullback would be his best position, but because he's got Keanu Kinney there. Let's just see how good Keanu Kinney goes. He's had one breakout year, right? Campbell's been around for 3 or 4. He's a first grader. He's an established first grader. I still think fullback is his position, Campbell, but because Keanu Kinney he wants it, right? And he's got that New Zealand spot. He's played well against Australia. He carved up last year. Who's saying that's not his job? But like, it's a fucking real hard position up there. I think Campbell is a 1 because I just don't really need him to think that much and orchestrate a lot of stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just think he just needs to get the ball on each side of the ruck because he's got a skill set which is so high and get the ball wherever. If he's a 6 or 7, he's stuck on one side of the field. You know how game plans are now.
Yeah.
He'd be on the right side of the field, and you take away half the field for him.
Well, who's the best example we've been able to pull off is Melbourne. Munster started at fullback. He couldn't play fullback because there's a guy called Billy Slater there, so he moved to 6, played a bit of centres. Now he's one of the best 6s in the game.
Yeah.
Then there was a guy called Jerome Hughes, was a fullback when he arrived.
Wait a year or 2.
Jerome Hughes arrived as a fullback. Hey, by the way, we've got Pappenhausen, we've got Munster, Slater.
Drinkwater was
We're getting rid of Croft. We're going to manufacture in a 7. That's worked out all right for him. He's playing on the right side. Yeah. So there are examples of it working.
That's Melbourne, but
that's Melbourne.
That's Melbourne. That is not the Titans.
They're the best. They've been the best that Desi's been able to do a good job with.
It's probably the hardest. It's hardest spine to figure out is the Titans. I can't because just simply because of Campbell.
Yeah.
Can't figure him out.
I reckon Brimo's the hardest one to figure out.
And Brimo, because Brimo 3 years ago was tapping like he was fullback for Queensland.
He was putting pressure on.
Kalen was like, fuck, I need to play 10 out of 10 every game. This is a prick fucking non-stop.
Yeah, and then you just
energy, and a few little injuries brought him back to the pack. I think he just needs to play centre.
Yeah.
I still don't know what to do with Campbell.
I don't know what to do with any of it still. We've been talking about it for 2 episodes now. I still don't know where I'm at with it. All right, this one comes from JUX. Yeah, I reckon Des has got a better idea. Dolphins had a tactic throughout the year.
I hope so.
Dolphins had a tactic throughout the year where Bennett would either swap Averillo and Farnworth or Lemuelu and Aikens sides halfway through the second half. It was a genius strategy to build chemistry with whoever halves were on that side. Qatar and Nicarima can really use their strike edge weapons. This happened a little bit. It didn't happen as much as people...
Once or twice, mate.
Yeah, once or twice in a game. And also, Wayne, and you'll agree with this as well, only a level of coach like Wayne could pull this off and not piss players off, I reckon. Like if someone moves you around, it's super frustrating, but because it's Wayne Bennett, you're like, all right, I've got to do my job, whatever.
He trusts me.
Yeah, I've got to, and the Hammer situation, moving Hammer from fullback to centres because he wanted to get Trey Fuller some time and he felt like
he needs to lock down their best player.
Anyone else, is telling players, and not just Hammer specifically, but star players to move out of their preferred position and do it for the team. It's tough ass.
It is, but he's the only. Yeah.
But Wayne's the sort of coach that can get away with it.
Bellamy, Stewart, Cleary.
That's it. Yeah,
maybe Robbo.
Yeah, you've got to have the runs on the board.
Yeah,
and
just to say, Hammer loves playing fullback. He left North Queensland to play fullback, killing it at fullback. And then you need to play left centre.
Yeah,
why? Because you need to mark fucking their best centre.
Because we're getting dominated.
I honestly think he's the best left side defensive centre in the game. Him and Critter shut each other down.
Yeah.
Herbie Farnworth and Critter shut each other down. They're three of the best.
Yeah. How did they must have
because they flip Herbie
Farnworth
over to right side.
Yep.
Or he's a right side centre anyway, isn't he?
No, he's left.
Well, he marked up on Critter.
He did.
Yeah, just for that game.
Yeah.
And that was a draw.
Yeah.
Even though the Bulldogs we got him up there, but they're similar body types.
You know what happened? He wanted to get Trey Fuller into the game. I'm pretty sure he played Fuller, moved Hammer to centres. And when he moves Hammer to centres, he plays left, but a big part of it would be marking Critter as well.
Yeah.
Farnworth over to the right.
That was a good game. That was a good battle.
He's ran away with it just at the end.
Yeah.
All right. It's a good shout, Jay, but whether Wolfie, even though he's got the respect of the players, whether he's able to pull that off and not frustrate players, being moving out of their preferred positions.
Lemuelu's going to be the back row. Were you thinking with their best side? Lemuelu and the right side back row would be...
Well, no, we had Gilbert in there.
Gilbert?
Well, it depends if Gilbert plays lock and Maxi Plath plays off the bench, but I reckon Max Plath earned a starting spot last year.
I think, yeah.
It'd
be different. Because I like Lemuelu.
Yeah.
He's a good back row.
Yeah, he is a good player. Hey, boys, this is from Daniel Robinson. Hey, boys, regarding the Reece Walsh chat. I can see him bouncing back this year the same way Teddy did in 2024. Teddy copped some bad head knocks in 2023 and had a down year by his standards, then bounced back really well in 2024 with an injury-free year. You got to remember Walsh had those two bad concussions, one against Taylor May early in the year at Penrith and the second with the Swalei Origin hit. It had to have had an effect on his performance. Hoping this year he can stay injury-free and produce a return to form. Couldn't have said it better.
As if that hit from fucking Suaalii didn't rattle his whole year.
Yeah. That Taylor May one was hectic
Taylor May was heavy as well, mate.
Didn't he fracture his cheekbone or break his nose or something?
He copped it, mate. He had a pretty dream run his first couple of years. He didn't really get hit that hard. Maybe remember Tarpanay got him with a bit of a at the end there.
His first year at the Broncos was really good. He got bashed at the Warriors.
Yeah, but it wasn't like that. Yeah. Those hits, he had a target those hits
everyone
really rattle you, man. Like the Suaalii one, and that's what's going to happen for the rest of his career. Because if you look at the blueprint, what happened last year, it really quietened him down. You know, the year before playing Origin, screaming, hitting his chest and everything like that, he's a confidence player.
Yeah.
And when he's on, no one is more dangerous than that kid. But you've got to put him back down to earth, and that's the only way to stop him. Not cheap shots, but get in.
Physical. Be physical with him. Try to throw him off his game.
Yeah, and all he needed was a really good rest.
Yeah.
Get back in the gym. Like, you know, he's a strong little prick anyway, but he's still going to build more muscle, be faster, and be better. His skill set is up there with one of the best, you know, in the whole competition. But those hits, they do rattle you.
For sure.
You know, and you can't tell me you have 1 week off and you're ready to play fucking Origin again after that. Come on, man. They've got to be smarter with that, with the HIA rules. He was not ready to come back. So that's a 3 week minimum. That's a 3 week, 4 week minimum rest on the sideline. It was fucking vicious. And they think he's fine to come back. I mean, they act like you care about us. You know what I mean? The NRL. Fucking just because you want bums on seats and you want Walsh playing Origin. Do you care about him? They didn't care about him. They just want him to play Origin. Mate, you see that hit? It's like getting fucking knocked out in a boxing match, flat out right hook from Tyson. You're not fighting for 6 weeks mandatory. You get hit like that, like a fucking steam train, and you think that little kid's ready to go in fucking 10 days? Come on, man.
But he's also... like he's the sort of guy you're itching to like. You get it. Just say you're not that size.
You got to take it out of his hand. You got to take it out of our hands.
Yeah,
because I'm fucking playing every single week, regardless of the hit.
That's my point.
That's the point that they need to take out. You are not playing, kid. There needs to be governing bodies surrounding all this sort of HIA shit if they're serious about that. And go, mate, you are not playing. You're not ready.
But then that again, I'm just trying to play counter for it too. Then you get to the position where like the levels of concussion, the levels of hits. I know that's a prime example. But there are also some pretty hectic ones as well that
was
sort
hectic.
of in and around. Yeah,
they've got to really protect the players. It's a tough position.
The NRL, the clubs, they're all in. It's not easy.
I know. I understand that, but like at that, the whole world saw that hit.
Yeah.
And they advertised the shit out of it as well. The whole world saw it.
Yeah.
When they advertise shit on YouTube, you see some of these Yanks going, "Oh, rugby league, blah blah blah." It's the first fucking hit they show. Fucking Suoli again. And when you watch it again, you're like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah.
Oh, play next week. Well, she'd be sweet. Just miss your Broncos game and then come back.
From a jaw.
After that fucking hit, like I was just like, when you look at it like now, and it's like, what?
It's that hit, and it's the George Tafura Munster hit.
Oh, mate, there's a couple of
that was clean.
Stevie Maddie hits a couple of those ones. They're beautiful.
Steve Maddie.
He's the cleanest hit I've ever seen.
Maddie and Tyrrell and Tafura on Munster. That's as clean as you get for.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Great contact, beautiful contact.
And they're clean, and they're perfect technique.
Perfect.
No shoulder to the head. Just shoulder through your chest.
Right in the midriff, straight through the chest.
Oh, mate.
It's actually hurting my ribs now thinking about it. All right, this one comes from Ty Baxter. Boys, Kyle Labut retired from Papua New Guinea, playing local league now. Sucks because he's been playing great footy there for ages. And now PNG are going to get a team in the NRL and he'll miss out because he'll be too old, which sucks. I reckon he would have been a key target for him for sure. So,
has he got a Papua New Guinea passport? He could be 22. like Paulie Ayton. I swear Paulie thinks he's still 32.
No, he used to say he's 21.
Oh, mate, he was 21 for fucking 8 years.
Yeah.
Oh, mate.
Shout out. He would have been
get him a 2-year deal at the fucking Kummels.
Would any of those boys from the Nines be like a chance for the PNG sort of side? Is that the current players?
I'm not too sure. I don't think so. A lot of their really good players are in NRL and Super League systems now.
Yeah.
Not to say that those boys...
Will they all be just like, get back here? Would that be it? Like just for the New Guinea side? Or we're strictly all Aussies?
I would say...
And Pommies and whatever.
And any of like the key starters for the Papua New Guinean team
you're back.
Would be recruited heavily and paid good money.
You'd be wanting to go back. Fucking get me out of here.
If you're a PNG player, do you get the same tax break?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
You should do. No, fucking
100%, bro.
If you're playing for them, and you can't just say Aussies getting the
everyone.
I'd have to get it. Yeah, fucking oath. So if you're on 300, 350, all yours. That's fucking. They're the boys.
High-paying job. That's a
boys going to be
job.
getting some cash.
Go be the media manager over there. You'll love it. They'll love you over there.
I'll stick to my little chair.
Edit a term for
I'll
the
be mad
boys.
doing a little trip over there too.
Also, we had a little bit of a stuff up on the Tom in the North. Tom in the North. It was Tom Duffy, not Tom Chester. So Tom Chester is the little whippet.
Chester's the whippet, isn't he?
He's the whippet with the long hair that filled in for Drinky for fullback.
Where'd they fucking get him from?
So
Mad cow.
Tom Duffy, he's still up there, but Chester also tore his ACL in December. Tom Duffy is the young kid that's coming through that they're excited about up there. So we stuffed up with the Toms. Apologies to the Cowboys fans.
Always guns coming through that system, man. Yeah. There's guns everywhere up north.
So Tom Duffy, Jake Clifford, and I think it's Jackson Purdue are the three that are going to be.
Purdue's good.
They're going to be pushing for that half spot. And I seen someone was writing comments about like viewing the training sessions, and apparently Tom Duffy's been
killing it.
Yeah, been dominating.
I think people understand how important training sessions are now, man. There's drones flying around. You're filmed from every single angle. They'll sit there. They'll break a game down. They'll break, like, just say left on right, and then the left. Like, just say at Belmore, there's a big screen up there, right? So just say the right gets through. Like, they'll fucking stop it and go through the whole thing. This is why you don't turn out. You're turning in. There's not enough inside pressure from the middles.
Stopping it on the spot and not when you get back in video.
Bro, on the field, man. On the field at Belmore, looking at the hill, that's watching you. Like, you just coaches, we're just sitting there like, okay. And then you press stop and then they'll get in a huddle. This is all teams too.
Yeah, well.
I'll get in a huddle and go, okay, there was not enough inside pressure from the markers to make the 7-player early. A didn't fucking check and release. The 4-man got stuck in, turned his shoulders in. Then everyone else had to come in. Fuck, it's fucking great. On the run. Then there's like people in a little cabana, and then they're looking at it closer.
Yeah.
Really, it's fucking
You have two or three from
man.
Yeah. Sports science team.
Yeah. So today I'm going at 1:00. I've got an appointment with. Every 5 years I get my brain checked. You know the NRL do that, so like they pay for it and everything.
Past
like that.
players program.
Past players. So you go in there. So I got checked in 2014 to see if your brain's working, all that sort of shit. 2019, and now it's been 5. So every single 5 years.
Yeah.
So you go in there. It's
That's
fucking
good.
very daunting. It's fucking hard. Like, you're in there for like 3 or 4 hours doing all these little games, memory games and MRIs on your brain just to see if it's like, I can't really detect early, onset CTE and all that sort of shit. But like, it just gives you that sort of, like, because sometimes you get these fucking times where you go, fucking hell, where's my keys? All the little simplest shit really fucking frustrate me.
Yeah.
And like, even with like Willie Tonga come down, he was worried about like that sort of thing as well.
Yeah.
Got tested. It just gives you that sort of like, okay.
Bit of clarity?
Things are fucking all right.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you're sitting there and you're shitting yourself because then they give you the fucking things after and you're like, all right, your brain's fine. I'm like, but it's nerve wracking. So I got to go in there today about
without, I guess, what's the word? Like diminishing the importance of it.
Yeah.
There's also, for me, the factor with, we played the game and there are, signs for sure with the contact that we had. But there's also the age factor.
You're getting old.
As we get older.
Exactly.
And by the way, like, we had some good times.
Yeah.
Some of the some of the alcohol that we
There's a
drank
lot
during
of
that
shit
time.
that goes into
So
it,
there's
right?
so many things that as we get older now that like you not only have to be aware of because of the way we treated our body on the footy field, but also
on and
our
off the
lifestyles.
field. And exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I'm so aware of. And I'm like, okay, I need that
sure
sort
be
of
a
clarity. And it's good that the NRL are doing that. And if past players or anything like that didn't know,
that's available.
it's available.
Okay, so I didn't know
you
that.
can go and it's for free, and the NRL pay for it. They fund it and everything like that. So it's not costing you anything. It's at Randwick Randwick Hospital.
So who did you go through to get this done?
The RLP. I've been seeing this guy since 2014.
Yeah.
So I just he goes every 5 years. So they contact you.
Okay.
So the first thing is just doing the first one.
Yep.
Right. And it's pretty hard and it's pretty daunting. And it's like, do I want to do this? Do I really want the answer to it?
Yeah.
Like I tell like Ogre, Mark, go do it. He goes, no fucking way. Do you know what I mean? I said, Ogre, it'll give you some clarity to say that you're going all right. Like, let's not think of the other side. Like Tong did it because he was worried about the same sort of shit.
Yep.
A few little, we caught some fucking hits.
For sure.
On and off the field sort of stuff as well.
Is there markers that they go back and like?
So they'll have everything on me since 2014.
Okay, so we'll talk about that when you come back from
So it'll be interesting to see.
Let's see how the results are different.
From that, and then 2019, I was better. Like I've been retired for 5 years.
You'd improved.
I'd improved,
certain parts of the.
Because he goes, look, just Willie. He goes, if you want fucking big arms or legs, you train legs, right? He goes, just train your fucking brain. Do different things. Go outside your comfort zone, and just do different shit. Like, don't just keep fucking doing the same thing. Otherwise, you're just going to stay there.
Different mental exercises.
Yeah, different
like
things. And I've always done that all the time. So it's like, it'd be interesting for this one.
Yeah.
But it's fucking long too, man. Like, it's like 3 or 4 hours you're sitting there, and it's very frustrating because like when they just say you go in, this is the first example, he'll name 20 fucking things which are so random, right? And then 3 hours later he goes, what were those 20 things?
Don't give it away. You're giving away some of the
fucking
answers.
serious? No, I know, but they fuck like and you don't leave until you answer them. It's fun.
Wow.
And there's a lot of other exercises that you do, and it makes you really frustrated. And you go, fuck.
All right,
don't have a brain.
What was our coffee order downstairs before?
I'm the worst.
Yeah, you're out. You can't leave the room.
Anyway, it'll be interesting.
Yeah, well, let us know how they go with the results
week,
and how they
But any ex-players who have played, it's for free. Yeah. Go in there, check yourself if you're worried about anything like early onset CTE, HIAs, and everything like your memory. Just it's available.
You did forget to pay for the coffees this morning.
Yeah, I know. I thought you were doing it. I thought I did.
All right, let's get to the news of the week. There was a little bit of a scare through at the early part of the week. Tigers star Jerome Luai, he is in doubt for only the trials, it looks like, in 19 days. He's reportedly set for scans on a leg injury. It's not believed that Luai is in any doubt for the Tigers' opening round fixture against the Knights. But just looking ahead, Mase, and we're going to get the teams up here, how important is it, or do you think it's how important is it going to be that Jerome Luai could potentially be missing all the preseason games in the next 2 or 3 weeks, rolling into them?
It's pretty important. It's the training sessions. As I said, like, they're very important. And missing those training sessions when it's left on rights and there's a lot of stuff going on, and he's the 5'8" and he's in control of all that kind of stuff and timing and building relationships and continuity, all those sort of things, right? Because he doesn't know who his centre is. He hasn't played with him before. He doesn't know who the lock is. Like, I mean, he does now, but like, he hasn't played with him. Yeah. He doesn't know the cadence, the timing. He knows what Yoey's doing all the time. Yeah. He knows Dylan Edwards' timing around the back. He doesn't know anyone's timing during bullers, the left side centre, the back rower. There's a lot of that shit that, a lot of reps that need to be counted for, and he understands that, and I just don't want him to rush back because it is a long year, but he'll be missing a lot of reps, and that's going to suck.
We'll look at the Tigers' first 3 games, and I was looking at this, we talked about it on SEN a couple of weeks ago. Knights round 1 at home at Campbelltown, winnable.
Yeah.
Not saying they're favourites, but it's winnable.
Without him.
Fuck, they're actually favourites right now for that game.
Knights lost a few.
Para Eels at CommBank, winnable. And Dolphins up at KO, winnable. So the first 3 games, it's going to be really, it's a really important to start well.
Everyone could be talking about, fuck yeah, the Tigers are back.
Everyone wants to start well, but in particular, a team like the Tigers who've had a couple of wooden spoons now in a row, it's important that they start well with Jerome Luai. So crucial that he gets back and
so he misses training. What? They just said maybe round 1, so he's not doing any ball work right now.
So they think he's sweet for the first round, but he's in doubt missing the trials.
So that's 4 weeks of ball work. That's what he's missing.
Yeah.
4 to 5 weeks. Yeah. That's very important.
Yeah.
It shouldn't hamper him a lot, like you say, but I'm only saying that if he was in a Penrith system. This is a West Tigers system when they're fully relying on him to get him over the hump.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he's going to be there at training every day. He'll be doing his best. But yeah, it's going to suck. It's going to suck only because it's at a whole new club.
Well, the club,
the reps, and it's the reps that he's going to miss, and it's the timing from everything from the 9 to him to the back rower to the fullback going out the back to the centre to the wing. Do you know what I mean? All those little things. He's going to be controlling that left side of the field, right side of the field, even because he's going to be playing halfback. Yeah, there's a lot of variables, man. A lot of variables going into that
defensively.
Yeah. I mean, he does have that with Appy anyway, so he knows how Appy moves, so that's all right. But anyone else, no idea.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't normally talk about younger players being recruited, but I found this one interesting. So the Penrith Panthers have poached a young gun from the Broncos. Pardon me. The reason I bring it up is because the Panthers got whenever if the Panthers are going after a younger guy, must be. I just want to know how good he is. So they've reportedly poached one of the country's most prized forward prospects, Harry Armstrong, joining the reigning premiers. This is according to Code Sports, who reporting 20-year-old made the decision after watching Penrith train during the 2024 finals campaign.
That's mad.
He's been one of the Broncos' most prized pathway products. So Broncos fans or people that sort of watch the juniors, let us know about Armstrong. Is he as good?
That sucks.
And if Penrith are getting him, I'm
Queensland
guessing.
19s, it looks like second rower.
Yep.
If he's a promising forward,
did he play last year in that?
If Penrith are getting him, he must be.
But
good.
You don't
to go outside of their nursery.
Yeah, you don't leave Brisbane, man, until you're like mid-20s.
Yeah. And Penrith going outside of their nursery to bring someone from Queensland must be done. So
Harry, no pressure.
Let us know how Harry Armstrong goes if you've seen him play a bit of footy. The Dolphins also confirmed that Christian Wolf is going to go after Morgan Knowles. He had Morgan Knowles at St Helens when they won 3 premierships in a row from 2020 to 2024. Wolf is hoping to use that relationship to lure the English weapon to the NRL.
What position is he?
He's a lock, front row. He's a good player. Good player. I said he should have probably come over a couple of years ago now. He's 28.
He's prime.
He's still good to come over, but he's a good player, Morgan Knowles.
goodbye. Have they got him or they haven't?
No, well, this is. I've always said there's a couple of players in that St Helens team, like the half. I'm having a blank on
talking about, but I know that Knowles guy.
Yeah,
get over his son. Come
on. Jack Wellesby.
Wellesby's the guy. If Christian Wolf can do anything with the influence that he's got being a new coach by being over in the Super League,
it's big.
Is try to get Wellesby and Wolf. Now Wellesby just re-signed some crazy 5-year deal at the Saints when all the teams were after him, but
it's like EPL. They have like transfer fees and stuff you can do over there, eh?
There was a
yeah, you can get him now.
There was a younger winger, and I talk about him all the time, Tom Johnson, and he was a gun, and he signed like a crazy 3 or 4 year deal at Wakey when I was playing there, and he had like £100,000 transfer fee for for a young player and who hasn't proven it. But like if he had made the jump, he could have been a gun over as well.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to the distance division preview.
Yes.
Kicking it off with the Warriors. So the Warriors to make the top 4 are $7 with our partners, the Tab. To make the top 8, $2.75. To win the minor premiership, $34, and to win the grand final, $41. This message comes from Da Random Cuzzy. Hey,
that's a mad name.
Da Random. So his like YouTube name is Random Moldy, and then he's down the bottom. He signs off with Da Random Cuzzy. Hey brothers, welcome back. Love the potty. Was listening to the podcast, and OG was talking about his SG ball team, and it reminded me of an interview on another podcast. Don't worry, you guys had finished for the year. It was Matthew Ridge, The Life and Times. So it was on Between the Two Beers podcast. It's a really good podcast in New Zealand,
Ridge,
actually. Yeah, Matty Ridge went on there and he unloaded.
I know. I saw little bits of it.
Anyway, the thing that I took from that interview was when he left the championship Manly side to go to the Warriors, he was saying that the mental toughness just wasn't there at the Warriors compared to the Manly side that he just left, which explains a lot about that team of that era. By far, the Warriors were the best 60-minute team in the game, but league is 80 minutes plus. That's where they always fell over.
That's where he was saying, he goes, he reckons it's still in there now. That mentality is not as...
So my question is, how do you install that mental toughness to the younger guys coming up through the lower grades to say, SG ball, I've seen so many young New Zealand players get picked for the NRL teams and flourish. So they're examples of like sort of leaving that system. It's a good question.
Yeah.
Going back to I seen the potty, it was pretty intense, full on.
Yeah.
I will say that like there is, I don't know, Matty Ridge is a bit older now also. You can tell that there's maybe some conversations that need to be had. Like felt like he was a little bit bitter at the club and the situation.
Bit bitter.
Potentially there's stuff that we don't know about. But in saying that, I think I really do think that's gone. I think that the years of the Pacific Islander players, the Warriors, and we used to know this too, mates, when we used to play against the Warriors was the chat was, hang in there for the first 50, 60.
Yeah.
You got big boys, you weather the storm, you get them in the 80.
Yeah,
now
it's gone.
Those days are gone. Like the Pacific Islander boys specifically, not just the Warriors in general, mate, they can all play 80 minutes now.
Yeah,
I don't think that's a culture problem anymore, and I think Webby's doing a great job. And he also said he thinks Webby's on the right path, but I don't think it's like that anymore for the Warriors.
No, it's not. And it was probably for the first 20 years, I reckon. And then now, obviously, with a lot of sports science, a lot of coaches, a lot of, the amount of fitness levels, there's all these markers that you need to get to before they even look at you to get to first grade, right?
Yeah.
You're not just throwing all these young kids in because they're big, strong and fast. And then there was that unlimited interchange, and 12 was pretty good. You could get 15 minutes out of a young kid and he could blast you. And now it's like, dude, if you're not getting 30 out, 25, 20 plus in the middle as your first stint.
You got to be able to play 30 just in case.
Yeah. They're not even looking at you. So there's all these little markers that young kids know that they have to get to.
Yeah.
And Webby's going to be driving that. He was at Penrith for years. He knows exactly where to get to. He's recruited the right people, the right players. And it's not a culture thing anymore. It's a performance thing.
Yeah. I reckon there's the change in the shift of the culture sort of happened around the Ivan Cleary era.
Yeah.
I reckon the professionalism of the Warriors
Aussie coaches in there.
Improved heaps.
Aussie S&Cs, all that kind of stuff.
Not to say that they didn't have down years, and there was a couple of lean years before Webby got there, but I reckon like the Simon Mannerings of the world, like those sort of guys, and
Michael Luck and Tatey and Pricey when they went over there, that sort of era, 2010s, that sort of era, they really installed that sort of Aussie mentality in there a bit, you know. Some good back rows, good front rows. Ruben Wiki went there, like so. I think that was well gone. That sort of culture. I think it was probably like that in the 90s, the 90s and the early 2000s when Reggie was there.
It would 100% existed when he was going over there and playing, for sure.
Because
but he was saying he still sees it now, and that's the one part I disagree with.
I don't see it. I don't see it. We've played the Warriors for 20 years. They're fucking hard as hell.
Yeah. The 2025 gains for the Warriors: James Fisher-Harris, Jet Cleary, both from the Panthers. Motu Pasikala, he's been upgraded. Aaron Clark, Sam Healy from the Sharks, Tanner Boyd. Hopefully Tanner Boyd can have a good little run there after a couple of rough season at the Titans. 2025 losses: Adam Fanua-Blake, Jazz Devanga, Marcelo Montoya, Sean Johnson, and Tohu Harris, both retired. There's about... So let's go 200, games, 150, say 500, nearly 1,000 games. Yeah.
Tohu Harris will be missed. His leadership, I think he was great for them. Just undercover, just did like 80 minutes, 20 hit-ups, 40 tackles, like every single game. Fanua-Blake will be missed, but you're replacing him with Fisher-Harris, man. I know, like, they're different sort of forwards.
Way different.
The mana that Fisher-Harris brings is something that no one else can bring. Like, he's a captain of New Zealand. He's a proper Māori man. Like, he's a very proud man as well. So I think all that shit that he brings, and he's just about it, they will follow that guy to the ends of the earth. Like, I reckon Mitch Barnett will grow into another human, even though he's probably had his best year of his career last year. I think he's going to go even further because he's going to have Fish there backing him up, you know, like their back row.
Just you talking about it now, Fish almost has to not replicate, but he's almost trying to fill the shoes of both Adam physically, the way he, the intimidation and the money that he's going to have to bring to the team, whilst also having the leadership of a guy like Tohu.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
He's almost
Tohu didn't say much.
No.
But Fish don't say much either. He says a few words and you just got to follow. He just leads by example. And I think everything he does at training, which is probably just as important, the way that the Penrith boys train is nearly as hard as a game. So I think that's what sort of level of intensity that he's going to bring every single session, and it will make the other players better players.
I remember I was speaking to Ciro about it when we were at the golf day last year, and he talked about Fish setting the standards and setting the tone for like now Moses Leota becoming leaders at the club. They all sort of just, Fish was the guy that they gravitated towards, and now they all become leaders in their own sense now, and now they've sort of, it's given them the opportunity at Penrith to let Fish go home for family reasons, get to represent New Zealand, and Moses comes through and becomes the alpha.
Exactly.
So Panthers. All right, my predicted team. And by the way, I've been saying predicted round one team as well. A couple of people pulled me up on the Ezra Mam and all that stuff. This is my predicted best team.
Yes.
So, like, if everyone was fully fit and if they weren't suspended, this would be my predicted team. Not to say it will be round one, not to say that there wouldn't be any changes, but I'm going to go Chance Nickel-Klogstad at fullback. I'm going Dylan Watana-Zelezniak, and I'm going Rog on the wing.
I knew you were going to do that.
Yeah, I'm going.
I don't mind it.
He floated with it at the back end of last year. I really think he can bring Rog into the game better. Now, a lot of people were calling for him to go to fullback. The disrespect on Chansey, I reckon, for not only
he copped a bit last year.
Like, he didn't have as good a season.
The whole new Warriors had a fucking ordinary year.
Yeah, it was tough for him. But I reckon Chansey's the guy. Roger at wing, so you can still get his grouse kick returns. I think Rocco Berry back fit. He was missed. He missed a lot of footy last year as well. And I flirted with the idea of Adam Pompey back in after he had to make way for Rog the year before. But I reckon
year off good.
Yeah, I'm going to go Ali Lautea. I think he's the young gun that they he's been in the system now for a couple of years, and I think they're expecting big things from him. And they sort of want. You would think Webby would want him to take the job away from a guy like Pompey who's rock solid. Luke Metcalf and Tamade Martin are my 6s and 7s, but Chanel Harris-Tavita's obviously thereabouts. Tanner Boyd's going to be.
He's a best defensive little half in the game.
Chanel.
Harris.
Yeah, he'll bang
Pumps
you.
Everyone.
Well, that's why I like Chanel in the 14 because he can come on and play lock,
play 9 as
and
well.
hooker,
7.
and jam people through the middle. And I think Tomato Martin is the best organising half that they got there.
When SJ was out and he was just like rolling, he was playing his best football.
Him and Chanel were playing well together.
Yeah, they're playing really well. It's just, you know, when SJ comes back, he demands that sort of respect and he gets the lion's share of the ball. But hopefully he can really, you know, go to that next level because he's always had that talent.
Yeah. Defensively, again, he's another guy that needs to improve defensively, but this year he could get the keys and no pressure with like the expectations of Shawnee coming back or playing with Shawnee and having to play off him.
Yeah.
I think him and Luke Metcalf could be a sneaky good combination. Fish and Mitchie Barnett up front, Wade Egan at hooker, Jackson Ford and Kurt Capewell in the back row, and I've gone with Murata Niokora, a different style of play for them this year now that Tohu Harris, I think they'll have to play a different style of footy. If you don't have Tohu Harris and you don't have Sean Johnson, you can't do a copy and paste of how you've been doing it for the last couple of years. Rather than putting a guy like Dylan Walker in there and still trying to play that ball playing,
stop it.
I think they're going to play a lot more direct.
Yeah, some teams
play off Egan.
Yeah.
Played more off Egan and Tomato Martin just more on ball.
Yeah, some teams just they don't have the luxury of a great ball playing lock like a Yowie or a Cam Murray and a Victor Radley and Carrigan, you know, like sometimes you're just going to have a guy like a Niokora who's just going to fucking straight through the front door. Same as Fish, go offloads. It's the best way. The Warriors are the hardest when they just fucking run as hard as they can. They know you know where they're coming. You just got to stop it. And then there's offloads. Then Egan goes through there, and then Tamari Martin's ducking through. The outside backs are getting through. They just play warrior football. Don't play methodical shit like Penrith. That's not the way they play. They bash into submission with their defense and attack. That's how they play. That's the way I was used to playing against the Warriors. Oh, fuck, it's a hard game.
But also, Webby comes from that system, so he knows that there's a formula that works with the Panthers.
It's a little bit, right? You've got to be able to do a little bit of like, you know, obviously get to different points and kicks and all that sort of shit. But when we're attacking, just fucking go as hard as you can, front load, run as hard as you can, tip the ball on, play football. Yeah. Just play footy at them.
They got a little bit predictable last year.
Very predictable.
Yeah, on the right edge in particular.
Fuck, it was just, you knew what was going on. Yeah. And what do you think coaches do? Yeah. You sit there and study your whole edge and like movements and how, and what they did was stop SJ.
Yeah.
Then they stopped their whole movements. They got to SJ quicker. And then it fucked their whole outside backs up.
They were stacking an extra number
pressure.
On the left.
They were getting another one. And all the markers was moving so fucking fast. And the A's were coming up and then hunting SJ to that way. And it ruined everything. And then it threw off Shan's Clockstad. Like he was all over the joint. People were coming up and jamming. So you got to have plan B.
He was also injured a lot and he was really good at the back of that shape. So they had Tua Picky, who's
never went left.
A younger player, and they very rarely went left because obviously the guy who had so much success the year before, Metcalf, ended up missing. Yeah. Because Metcalf would just go look up 4 and forward on the short side and take it and skin some teams. So that part of it being back also opened it up for the right. So that was sorely missed.
Even if it was at the black dot, right? You usually have like a 5-5 split with a fullback pretty much like ghosting behind, going, which way should I go? Like, where's Clockstad? He always tacks on the right side.
About
so you're just going to put another 30. Number there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then you'd shut it down easy. So they need to come up with a different sort of plan than that, especially in the red zone. It was very, very predictable.
Key storyline and question for me, for you, for the Warriors. Can Webby regain that momentum of the 2023 Up the Wires movement? And out of those names I mentioned before, who will be the hardest one to replace out of Aden, Sean Johnson and Tohu?
I think Fanul Blake's already replaced by Fish. I think. Even though it's hard to say, like he's hard to replace.
Not like for like, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm just I know where you're going with you didn't get a fucking bum, did you?
Yeah.
You got Fish.
Yeah, so Shawnee or Tohu then?
Shawnee is hard to replace.
Yeah.
Because of his respect.
His aura?
And his aura. He's Sean Johnson. He can still do shit. And he was still killing it in some stages last year. But, I'd say Sean. Because Tohu's just he just works his ass off. He's a worker. He's not going to lie. He's not going to break your line or anything like that. Yeah. He was the spirit of that whole team. But
that's 40 tackles a game. And 20
I know. But like just the other just do the other guy near chorus. Like, I can do that.
Yeah, okay.
Do you know, like, I can,
I'm with you too, by the way.
Yeah, I can replicate that. I'm not sitting back going, I can't do this shit.
Yeah.
Or the back row, Jackson Ford and all that. I can still I'll make 40, 50 tackles as well. They'll do it. They'll share the work. I think it's probably a more evenly balanced side right now than it was last year.
Yeah, we're not worried about the pack, are we? We're worried about the halves.
The pack's going to go at you.
Yeah,
They don't give a shit where you are. Like against the Warriors, you're going to get a physical game. Doesn't matter.
Stat in there for you?
Yep.
So last year, Johnson played 13 games, 3 wins, 1 draw, 9 losses.
Yep.
Conversely, 7 matches without him, 5 victories and 2 defeats.
Ooh.
Yeah. I mean, they had an awful year. Let's just not blame Sean. They were just just a terrible year. Like, we were just looking at them going, what the fuck is this? They were blowing teams off. Remember the first round? I was like, Fanua Black, boom, boom, boom. They end up getting beat.
Yeah.
I was like, that was the whole year.
Yeah, there was
pretty
about
much
3 or
that
4
first
games.
game. There was about 5.
That Sharks
probably
game.
more. And I'm just like, what happened? And that comes the kicking. That comes the little things, executing, not dropping the ball in your just the little things like that. Not pushing passes in your own half, completing sets, getting into that wrestle where you can do where the great teams do, because you've got to be able to do that. Then you've got to be able to play football and execute and build pressure. They weren't building pressure at all when they got there. They're trying to score all the time. There was drop balls. They were just fucking all over the shop. So this is what preseason's for. They got to fix all that.
It's funny sometimes the stats that are associated with star players when you have a stat like Shawnee.
Yeah, it makes him sound bad, doesn't it?
No, it does.
Just saying, but
understanding that there are some that star players they miss and the teams just go to shit. But then there's also sometimes when a star player misses, that there's a lot of pressure taken away, like expectations, like you're not expected to win, and then everyone plays a little bit more freely. That can factor into.
Martin started killing it with the other guy. They had a great combination. They were winning some games and then
play a little bit more simplistic style of footy, and so I'm looking forward to the Warriors this year. Looking forward to seeing.
It's a bounce back year. It's got to be.
Yep.
It has to be.
All right, the next team, and we didn't have a question for the Storm as well, too, by the way. So Storm fans, you let yourself down here, but this is a part of my multi-builder. The Storm to make the top 4, $1.50. That'll be a part of my multi-builder. Storm to make the top 8, $1.10. Storm to win the minor premiership, $3.60. And Storm to win the grand final, $3.75.
Are they the favourites for everything?
They are.
Yeah, they should be too.
Good, because my question's coming up is about that. 2025 gains, Stefano Uto Ikamanu and Moses Leo from New Zealand Rugby Sevens. They lost Remus Smith, our man young Tonomapeo, who we put the blame on for the Titans pass. Aaron Penne, Chris Lewis. He played with us, good fellow too, Chris Lewis. He played in the Nines tournament with us. Tepai Marawa. So respectfully to those players, they've been great contributors to the Melbourne Storm system, but bringing in Steph and not losing too much and basically not losing anyone out of your starting lineup is huge. So the predicted round, best team possible.
Yeah, it's a decent side, this one.
Ryan Pappenhausen at fullback. Nothing's going to change basically from their grand final side. Will Warbrick and Xavier Coates on the wings. Jack Howarth had a really good breakout season in the centres with Nick Meaney. Cameron Munster, Jerome Hughes. Stefano will go straight into a starting spot, I believe. Harry Grant with Josh King. You've got Sean Blawn, Ali Katoa in the back row. Trent Liero had a breakout season as well. And then you've also got the option of chucking Big Nelson in the starting front row or lock or wherever you want to put him. So
it's a fair team, isn't it?
That's a decent team. My question to you, Mase, and this is only going to be a short Storm preview because we didn't get a question from any Stormers fans. How do Storm manage the expectations of being favourites, even though the Panthers are the team that have beaten them twice in the last 2 years when it mattered most?
Because they've been favourites just out of the last 20 seasons, probably about 10 times.
Yeah.
They fucking deal with it. It's not a big surprise to them. Oh, we're favourites. Fuck, we're going to capitulate.
What about these players specifically, though, like the Munsters and
the Munsters?
I'm Hughes and Pappenhausen. They haven't beaten
me knowing Money. You know him well, better than me. He'd probably be filthy at the year that he had last year. And he's like, fuck this. I need my crown back. I need the 6 back. Luai, they're thinking Luai's better than me. I'm fucking going to prove it, right? I look at Pappy going, all right, people saw a little bit of what I can do still. Sign another year. I need to fucking go. I need to get back to that. I need to get back to that sort of top 5 fullback in the game. Jerome Hughes, replicate again last year, and you'll be a top 3 halfback regardless. Harry Grant probably didn't have his best year last year either. He just finished the year off good. He didn't have a very good Origin series. He'd be filthy at himself, Harry Grant.
Yes, he had a better season for the Storm than he did representative.
Yeah, but then he missed some cues and defensively, and he was just he was trying too hard because he had players out.
Remember what we were talking about at the start of the show? He had a fuck sternum.
Yeah, and he couldn't because defensively he got fucking elbows. Yeah. He's a tough little prick, mate. He's the best. Yeah, he only missed a couple. That's what we're talking about before, the toughness of these players. Some of the people be out for 6 weeks with some of the injuries these guys just keep playing with. So I'm just thinking. You chuck a few. These guys are going to be in their second year. I think Liero's in his third. He's going to become I think he'll play Origin this year. I think he's that close.
Yep.
Josh King,
he got
absolute beast.
Game 3, didn't he?
So they know he's coming. Their centers were outstanding. The wingers were outstanding. The wingers are fucking game breakers, mate. They run so hard. They were so good last year. Especially Warbrick. I think he's going to go to another level.
Yep.
I don't know where you fit Big Nasty in. Big Stefano, I think they'll take his game to another level. And I think taking his game to another level, that means that he's going to be pretty much nearly a starter for New South Wales, and he should be pushing for the Aussie team or Tongan or whatever nationality he chooses, right?
There were that many levels that you just said. They're the Melbourne levels next year.
That's his team, mate. That's what I'm looking at. I'm like, okay, well, Penrith have digressed a little bit. They've come back to the pack a little bit where Melbourne were pretty much fucking like that with them.
If I'm a Storm fan, that's the bit that scares me the most.
Yeah.
Because we're all saying it. Anyone that's been involved in rugby league and not only just me and you, we're high on the Storm. Everywhere I see Storm favourite. Penrith are just sitting back going,
I know.
Yes, how good is this?
I know.
Fucking 4 in a row.
Of course.
Everyone's talking about the fucking Storm.
And I think Bellamy's got that little going. He's got, you know what? I fucking started your dynasty and I'm going to end it. That's what I'm doing. He's thinking, okay, we got you in the first one. We got you 4. Now I'm going to end your dynasty. He's never ever going to say that. I just know what Belly thinks mentally. He's probably, I got the team now.
Yep.
Now I got the team. You guys come back to the pack. We've bought Stefano and we've got some other players coming up.
The best thing too about the Storm is just having guys like Jonah Pezzett and Saul Falongo just waiting.
Sitting in the wings.
Just sitting there waiting.
Fuck.
NRL quality players with high potential that clubs are looking to get. They're just always putting pressure on Pappy, Munster, and Jerome Hughes.
And then you think of just say different game plans. You want to spot a 7-up or something like that. You put Big Nasty at right side back row. You put Blore back or Katoa back to lock, or play him off the bench. Liero comes in somewhere else. You've got so many other little pieces that can fix everything.
Yeah,
right.
We didn't even mention the best Mr. Fix-It out of all of them. Best player of the year last year for him, arguably, Tyrone Wisher.
Yeah,
he was fucking unbelievable.
He's not even the starting side.
No,
so that's what I mean by depth. So they've got 22, 23 players that are genuine first graders.
Yep.
Where I look at some other teams that are bottom 4 and I'm like, yeah, you probably got 13 first graders.
Yep.
4, you're probably going to just, hopefully they play good and they're up and coming stars. But you've got 23, 24 bona fide first graders down there in Melbourne.
That other teams would love to have.
And they're fucking filthy. And I know what sort of mentality that they can have and what Bellamy's like and what he can install in them and what sort of man he is and what sort of team they got down there. I just think, fuck, that's a dangerous team. And they got beat in the grand final and they're sick of Penrith.
Penrith keep knocking them out.
And Penrith was just like, you know what? Fucking bring it on. See what happens. So fucking watch this space.
Watch this.
I think they're just going to run it back.
Who they got round 1?
I don't know. They're going to pump them, but no, they got Para. Lukey's boys.
They do have power.
Yeah. Oh, they got a good record. They got a good... Shut up, mate. so does Melbourne. Is it 20 fucking years of not getting beat round 1?
21 it was.
That's a record.
21 years it was.
21 years, yeah.
Last year.
I was a part of that too. We could have broken that in 14. We were up until Snake went off.
I think we were the one that...
you were. We've had this before, yeah. That's a sneaky fucking round 1 for them, Parramatta.
I'm not phased. If I'm not phased if I'm Bellamy, I'm just fucking going.
Parramatta have a good record against Melbourne as well, just like they probably not last year. Harry Grant just beat them on the hooter a couple of years ago in round 1, didn't he? Because they played Melbourne played Penrith round 1 last year.
Little that was from W.
Yeah. Melbourne's first round they played Penrith. Yeah,
and everyone knows how. Everyone wants to break that hoodoo as well, break Melbourne. But good luck.
We'll see. All right, let's move on to the Knights. Anything else?
Nah, keep going.
You're excited about that? Parry was how?
I hope Parry.
You've been wearing heaps of Parry merch this year.
Everyone know.
Now that you're on camera, you never used to rock up this much Parry merch.
Paraphernalia.
going to do his rib again?
Too much paraphernalia. Look at him.
What's his name again?
Who are you looking for?
I'm looking for the name that kind of fucked me up. Mitch Newey.
Newey.
Oh, Newey boy.
The Newey boy, mate.
He's a Newey boy.
Newey boy fucked your ribs
We're talking about the Knights. Let's get into the Knights. Newcastle to make
Newey's on the bench.
Newcastle to make the top 4, $10. Newcastle to make the top 8, $3.50. Newcastle to win the minor premiership, 51s, and that's also the same price for the grand final. Our question comes from Ryan Gearing. My question is, as a big Knights fan, what do we have to do as a unit to purely help Ponga out on the field? I feel for a long time we've always been too reliant on a single player. Joey had some great players back in 01 to win the GF, but towards the later end of his career, the Knights struggled to win games without him. Ponga is an absolute beast when he plays for Queensland. He just has to be the fullback and do his role, which at the Knights I feel he has to do so much more purely because we are lacking in areas around the park, which takes away from his brilliance. What would you boys add or change to help the club in the long run?
Yeah, it's a hard one, this one, because we've been trying to do this, 4 or 5 years now?
Yeah.
Up there, like
at least the last 2.
Yeah, well, they had it sorted out when they went on that 10 in a row, where Ponga was just floating up everywhere. He was left side, right side, through the middle. It's up to the 7 and 6 and the back rolls are so important. Like you got to start hitting it. You got to start hitting the back rolls on some leads. Genuine leads, and you've got very good back rowers.
Lucas, Pearce, Paul.
You don't always
Tyson
have
Frizzell.
Yeah, like you don't always have to hit Ponga like all the time, because a lot of defenses like are coming up and they'll see Ponga and they know they're not even going to hit the front, right? They just check and they go straight out the back to Ponga and then they shut him down straight away. Start playing.
Use him as a decoy.
Use him as a decoy, mate. You got Kai Pearce, Porsche, you got Frizz. Like, they're great ball runners, mate. And you just got to square up a little bit with a 7 and 6, who you go through their predicted lineup anyway. But, like, it's so important that they have good shape. Just say, if you on the left side of the post, 2 pass, back rower hitting the line, fullback out the back. Just hit Frizz most of the time, mate. Until they turn in, and then you hit Ponga. Like they should know that. And then you get the 3-on-2s down the short side.
Yeah.
And that's where he's great at. That's the space that Ponga needs to be in. He's nearly unstoppable when he gets in that. Not when you don't dig into the line and it's not a perfect pass on his chest. If you can't do that, then you shut Newcastle down straight away.
Well, I agree with you, but I just think it's as simple as just continuity within those positions.
Yes.
They've swapped and changed so much, and I reckon there's an X factor, and I love that I've seen some reports of this. At first when I heard it, I was like, this sounds desperate, it's too much. But the more I thought about it, I want him in the game even more. And he's a guy that only made his debut last year. And we'll get into the lineup and then we'll talk about it. The 2025 gains, Francis Manuelalu. Apologies for that, Francis. Taj Anand, they're both from the Queensland Reds. Tyrone Thompson's from Rugby New Zealand.
Boys.
A couple of Union boys, eh? James Schiller from the Raiders. Satini Takamo from the Sharks. And Matt Arthur from the Eels, I think, will do.
Schiller's all right, the big winger.
I like Schiller.
Yeah, I like that kid.
I like Schiller. He's part of my team.
Yeah, he should be.
Miles Martin, they lost Miles Martin, David Armstrong to Lee, Daniel Saifidi to Dolphins, and Ari Tuala to your Bulldogs, Mase. Tom Jenkins has been released. I think there's chat about him going back to Penrith, and Christian Mapapalangi. So my best team is Kalen Ponga at fullback, James Schiller and Greg Marzou on the wings.
Yep.
Gags and Bradman Best.
Yep.
Bradman Best's health is a huge part of when Kalen plays his best footy.
Yeah, because on that left side, you need him.
I've gone Fletcher Sharp at 6. On the same as you.
Okay.
I heard this reported that he was floating in and playing a little bit of halves.
Good kid, Fletcher Sharp.
Great kid.
Narrabri.
He can, he's got a bit of shit and a bit of dog about him.
Yeah, he's dog.
And originally, I wanted him on the wing because you can just play you know how much I love wingers at the moment, and guys can just get in and have an impact from the wing compared to what they used to be able to do. But getting him in that 6 role, having Jack Cogger run the team. Now, the reports are that Gamble could be the 7. I feel like all the news around Hastings isn't positive at the moment. So
Is he still there, Hastings?
He's still there, yeah. He's digging his heels in.
There's a problem.
Jack Cogger at 7, Fletcher Sharp at 6. And you could play more like a Fletcher Sharp down a short side, similar to the 6s we've talked about with like a Blaze Talangi role. and played Jack Cogger and Kalen Ponga on the long sides.
Yeah, will he be on the left side predominantly? Fletcher Sharp, I reckon.
He played right side wing last year.
Yeah, I'm just saying with his passing that, I'm not sure how, his left to right pass, his right to left. I'm not sure about his skill set.
Yeah.
Is it? Have you heard good things?
He was more of a runner last year.
He's a runner. I'm just saying that's a good thing because if you slide off the back rows and that, he's going to carve you up.
I felt like he had a good, nice touch. I can't really remember.
He can fucking play. I know that. I just don't know about his skill set with the passing game. So if he's going to be playing 5A, he's got to be. It's not just about speed. It's about tempo. And like he's by his back row with Kai Pearce-Paul. They need to have a great relationship. Way he squares up, the way Ponga where he starts from, and then you got Bradman Best, and then you got Marju. That could be a killer left side. Do you know what I mean? But if it's,
I feel like Cogger's got to be the guy for it.
Cogger's a 7. He needs to be the 7. You got it. You just paid fucking $600,000 for the guy. Maybe even more. He's a Newcastle boy. Give him the reps. Give him the time. The more they fuck around with this, the coaching and that, the more they just keep going down.
Yeah,
they've got to get it right.
Well, that'll bring it.
Got to get it right.
All right, Jacob Saifidi, Jaden Brayley, I think at hooker.
Yeah.
Over Phoenix Crossland, Leo Thompson, Dylan Lucas, and Tyson Frizzell in the back row. Adam Elliott lock. I could easily see
fucking
Kai
good
Pearce-Paul.
team.
Yeah, could easily see Kai Pearce-Paul starting. And maybe
Dylan Lucas, mad lines on that left side.
I liked it. Yeah,
I fucking like him.
I like.
Yeah, they can fight out for it.
Yeah.
That's what iron sharpens iron. Get out there, boys.
Because on the bench, you've got Phoenix Crossland, Kai Pearce-Paul, and even Tyson Gamble potentially pushing for.
He should be 14.
Key storyline: what do the Knights need to do? Start well. They keep missing the jump the last couple of seasons, coming home strong, making the finals, one and done.
Yeah,
but they're
man.
putting themselves in the position where they're chasing top 8, and you want to chase top 4.
Yeah,
it's only because they've missed the jump at the start of the season.
They haven't really lost that many players, right? To go, oh shit, they're really going to struggle. Leo Thompson and Saifidi, Adam Elliott, Frizz, Dylan Lucas, they're fucking good, and it's very, very well balanced. Gags and Bradman Best, Marju and Schiller, Ponga, that's a top 8 team. Easily should be pushing for top 4. That is a team right there. And then the bench, they've got about 21 first graders in that team, right? And then I think it's just about building pressure. Go use your middles more. You don't have to have a shot. You don't have to have a shot at them all the time. Build pressure, and that's up to Cogger, man. That's up to Cogger when to pull the trigger or not. You don't have to go to a fucking KP all the time because a lot of players are just going to go, where's KP? We'll just shift one that way. And then I want to know where if Sharp is going to be playing 5'8" or whatever. He needs to get the ball and just fucking run.
Is it a part of KP also going, even though I know I can get in and take the ball here and be more dominant, maybe I just pull back a touch.
I don't want him to pull back that much. If he sees short sides and everything like that, go at it. Yeah, but like when it comes to just in the middle of the field stuff, just bang through the middle of them. Get to a good kick. Play high percentage football, high completions, and then fucking beat teams into submission. Don't try and play the fancy play all the time with Ponga around the back because every team knows what you're doing.
It's funny because we think of Ponga, you think about flair, skill.
Yeah.
There's more toughness in this
He's tough,
team
bro.
Than not in Ponga, but in this team in general.
It's a tough pack, mate. Yeah. Leo Thompson, tough. Saifidi, tough. Frizz, Adam Elliott, Lucas. They're a bunch of dogs out there, and it's a highly skilled pack as well. Yeah. They're not just one dimensional. So you don't have to rely fully on Ponga every single play to get you out of danger or anything like that. Just fucking, when you get in the red zone, see where Ponga is. But these other guys have got to start making plays. I need Bradman Best to get the ball more. He's an absolute animal. He's an animal.
Those hamstrings were worrisome for him last year.
Yeah, well, he's probably just been fucking working on that shit all preseason. So he just needs to be on the field. Fuck, it's a dangerous team, man.
The more we were talking about it, the more I started going.
Because when you can't name it, when you can't name a bench, when there's 6 or 7 going for 4 spots, that's when you know you got a good team.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, there's a couple of teams where I've only got 1 or 2 options. But
this one you got 6 or 7 going for.
Could add even more on the position.
Phoenix Crossland's going to be going for that 9 position. Yeah. Brayley, you don't know of Brayley. He could go. You don't know where Adam Elliott's going. Yeah, exactly. So Phoenix he just got his test jersey last year, so he's not going to expect to play on the bench. But it's up to Adam O'Brien too. He must be under the pump. Got to be under the pump. Well. Yeah, they need to
start well for he can't, like I said, he can't afford to miss the jump.
No.
And a big part of it is the swapping and changing that he's been doing.
Yeah. Let's just say right now, I'm not sure what they're doing, but the reps that they're doing and everything up there needs just to be like whatever he's sticking with. That just needs to be like you stick with it most years, most of the year until it just looks awful or it looks great. You know what I mean? Like I don't know, like just give it a chance. Don't give it 2 games and then go fuck. It's not working.
Whatever 7 and 6 you decide, give it until magic round.
Yeah, and even the 9, he can't decide the 9.
Yeah.
You can't decide the 9. Phoenix crossed and bulked up, did everything to go and play 9 because he was a halfback usually. And then he's like, now he's pushed back. I saw him play set. I know, but like, because Brayley, I know. And Brayley, they paid massive cash for Brayley, but then they were trying to shop him around. And I'm like, Phoenix, I think Phoenix sort of outplayed him. I think so. And then he didn't get rewarded for it because of the fact that you paid him $850 and Phoenix is on fuck all.
Yeah, and he's your club captain.
Yeah, I get it.
All right, the Raiders. Raiders top 4, $11. Raiders top 8, $3.75. One of these 2 teams actually, as I'm reading this out, one of the Raiders or the Knights are going to make the top 8.
Yeah.
You know,
maybe
the
both,
team,
maybe both.
The last couple of years, there have been 2 teams that people have sort of knocked and not taken seriously. They've always been thereabouts. Yeah. Raiders just missed out. Knights have made the top 8, and they made it the year before. Knights have made the top 8 2 years in a row. Raiders top 4, $11. Raiders top 8, $3.75. Raiders minor premiership 51s, and that's the same price for the grand final.
Yeah.
I already asked you that. This one comes from Tyson Bennett. Boys, L1 since day one. Also a massive Raiders fan and want to touch on the direction around the youth at the club. The Raiders go into another season losing a wealth of experience, a new captain, and an exciting crop of young players who were recruited. Are the Raiders playing a dangerous game and going all in on youth in key positions? Given the inability to recruit top-level talent, the club is sort of left with no other choice but to get them young and build a culture. The teams in the lower grades have their minor successes and it should be results the club does look for when trying to rebuild, but having listened to the Gus potty with you blokes and making a point about development, are the Raiders heading in the right direction with how about they go about their youth?
It's a good question. They've always produced some gun juniors.
Yep.
They've got a big area down there, big catchment. They're always going to produce someone, and it's hard to recruit big dogs down there.
I think you answered his own question. It's spot on.
It is. It's development, mate. Yeah. It is, and they've always been like that. You're going to get one here and there, like a superstar to get down there, but there's a lot of variables in that as well. Is he why is he leaving? There's all that sort of shit. Anyway, I think they've got to do what they keep doing.
Yeah.
They're always fighting for a top 8 team. 2019 they were in a grand final, a gun team. It's getting a little bit older now. Big Tarps is probably their oldest player. What would he be?
Pups is still there.
Is Pups still there? I was going to say, so he's got one more.
I think he's got one more.
I reckon he's got one more lead him. I reckon they'll be playing for Pup. That would be their main sort of thing. Let's send Pup out on a good note. Their back row's still good. I'll wait till you go through the team and the losses and that. But they got these young kids, man. That they're a bunch of animals. That Strange kid and all that kind of stuff. Like, they got some good kids, man.
The beauty of development is, and especially in a place like that, every Canberra Raiders player that Ricky develops has a bit of Ricky about him, and that's going to serve them well.
Oh, yeah.
With whatever club they play at.
Yeah.
What Canberra have done a really good job at in the last couple of years is retention of key young players. Now, that nearly went out the window last year when they were about to lose Horsburgh.
Yeah.
He was frustrated with his role down there. But when you think about Hudson Young, they got Joseph Tarpany before he was relatively...
Played 1 or 2 games in Newcastle.
Nowhere near the player he was, and developed him down there. Xavier Savage looks like he's improved the other side. KO Weeks, he couldn't sort of get a run. Now he looks like he's going to be...
They're the ones that he recruits, that he's like... There's a lot of thought into that.
Yeah, and he's got the Strange kid from the area.
Yeah.
Developing them, so...
It's hard, and development takes a little bit. Do you know what I mean? They're sort of in it. Would you say that they're in a bit of a rebuild? A little bit?
I just think they're in the...
They've just lost a few senior players like Smelly and all that kind of stuff, but you just got to give it like a... No real team has a rebuild. You just fucking get in there. You're an NRL player, and you got to be an NRL player. And Ricky Stewart expects you. He can pick you in that team. Yeah. He expects you to play to a certain standard. So he has a lot of standards down there. So if you want to be rebuilding, who gives a fuck? If you're in the top 17, you're a first grader. Yeah. expect to play like a first grade. Yeah.
For where they're at, because they've got some pretty good depth as well, actually. So they picked up the young Ethan Sanders kid from the Eels, Miles Martin from the Knights, Savelio Tamale from the Dragons. I think that was a player that they didn't want to lose to, by the way. I think the Dragons liked him. Elliot Whitehead, he's retired, gone to Catalans. Nick Kotrick's gone with him. Zach Wolford went to Huddersfield. Jordan Ruppiner went to Hull FC. Hohepa Puru went to the Sharks. James Schill went to the Knights. Peter Holler went to North Devils. And Adrian Trevelyan went to the Northern Pride. My predicted best team available for the Raiders is Kaya Weeks at fullback, Albert Hopewadi and Xavier Savage on the wings, Matthew Timacor and Sebastian Chris in the centres, Ethan Strange at 6, Jamal Fogarty at 7, Corey Horsburgh and Joseph Tarpany up front in the front row, Tom Starling at hooker, Hudson Young and Zach Hoskin in the back row, and Morgan Smithies at lock.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, I was just wondering who the back row was.
Off the bench.
Okay.
Watch out for Ethan Sanders. Apparently, he's been really going. So the chat is Ethan Sanders has been going okay and mixing in the halves, and Ethan Strange has been floated in the centres.
Right.
Okay, so that's some of the news down in Canberra, and also Sammy Burgess' man from Warrington, Matty Nicholson.
Okay.
He's more of a. I would say he's more of an Elliot Whitehead sort of player than a John Bateman sort of player in the back row, and he's an 80-minute back rower.
Just tough. That's a tough team.
He's a guy that could really push. I think Zach Hoskins to.
I like Zach Hoskins.
So do I, but it gives him some options.
Yeah, Big Papa. Who knows what they're going to do with him? He could start. He could come off the bench. There's a lot of options there. Yeah. But to start games, just say if you're playing against a bigger pack, you want the Big Papa in there, just putting a couple of hits on. So you still play good minutes.
Starpany and co, with guys like, I think, Hudson Young would be part of their leadership group. I think a guy like Matty Timacor had a bit of a down year. He'd be expected to go up a level again and usher in this new era of Raiders toughness.
Yeah.
They've still got enough Raiders DNA in there that have been around, the guys like Jordan Ruppiner and Elliot Whitehead in particular.
Yeah, they'll miss Raps a bit.
Mate, Jack White in the last two
years,
lost Jack White and Jordan Ruppiner and Elliot.
That's
a lot of Raiders.
Yeah, and then they'll lose Big Papa after this year. It's a lot of toughness, exactly, and a lot of experience, and that's a brotherhood down there as well. They've played a lot of games together, like 200 games together. They've been through a hell of a lot. But this is a new era, and these young kids, they're well coached, mate. I'd love to, if you're a young kid getting coached by Ricky Stewart, you're fucking blessed. Him or a Belly or a Wayne Bennett, or Ivan Cleary now. Like, you'd love that. Just being, they have that siege mentality all the time. Like, fucking everyone hates going down to Canberra. Everyone hates us. We hate you. That's the coach. Yeah. Because the coach was a fucking absolute gun, and he installs that sort of shit when they go on away trips, when they come down to play Canberra. They need to really reinstall that. That trip down to Canberra needs to be. They didn't. They had a fucking very ordinary record when they come down to travel in winter to Canberra. Teams knocked them off.
What's been problematic for them the last couple of years too is big milestone games.
Fuck them. Yeah, after the Papa 300, they lost like 4.
But also the Croker game, where they got blown out by the Warriors, remember?
Yeah.
They haven't been, and that again is a reflection of Ricky, and as positive as we talk about him, he is so emotional, and it means so much for him.
Those players celebrated in the right way, that it can have a bit of a fucking roller coaster effect, right?
Young kids too in that team, man. Yeah. Big Papa and all that, and Tarps and all that, they can handle that, and Croaks, they can handle all those situations. But it's the young 19, 20-year-old.
Yeah.
When you see the whole week, it's all about those guys. There's fucking videos coming in. They're watching it in the video session. Hey, Big Papa, well done on 300. They're like, oh, mad. Like,
I want to be one of those guys.
Yeah, I want to be that. And then you forget what the common goal is win the game.
Yeah.
So I think Ricky will probably rectify that, but they really need to reinstall that. You fucking come down to Canberra, you're getting it, and you're not taking 2 points. But because people have a lot of clubs have that in their head as well.
Yes.
Like, we need to get down there, steal their 2 points, and get the fuck back to New South Wales or Queensland.
Don't talk about the weather. Don't talk about how tough it is.
Don't do that. Don't do this. Just get down there, get the job done, and get out of there. But so Canberra need to double down on that shit.
They were 6-6 at home last season. Do you want to know who beat them, or that's enough?
No. They need to be way better than that.
Give some context. Who beat them?
They got beat by the Dogs, Roosters, Storm, Knights, Manly, and Para.
Dogs, Dogs, Roosters, Knights, Storm,
Manly and Para.
Not bad, so not necessarily good teams as well. Like Para down the bottom.
They're beating the Tigers.
Yeah, it's the way they got beat, right? They were just like they were ahead, and they should have They should have won like 9 games.
They beat the Panthers. It must be an Origin period.
No, it wasn't. It was after Origin.
They got them, yeah.
Got them good. 8-4 or some shit like that. I remember that game.
They can grind with the best of them.
Yeah.
Canberra's going to be Canberra.
22-18.
Canberra's going to be Canberra. You know what I mean? Like it's just going to be a yuck fucking 80 minutes, and they're just going to bash you into submission, hopefully, and then kick good, and then rely on individual brilliance, and they're just tough. It's just a reflection of their coach.
All right, the last one is the Seagulls in the distance division, and again, no comment from fans, so no Manly fans out there.
None at all.
Manly top 4, $3.25. Manly top 8, $1.60. Manly minor premiers, $13. Manly grand final win, $15. 2025 games, Joey Walsh from Rugby Union, Jazz Tavanga from the Warriors is a sneaky good pickup, I reckon. Cheese coming back from the Rabbitohs, Michael Cheekham. Siwa Takiaho from Catalan Dragons. Your boy Chris Patola from the Bulldogs, Mase. And Dijare Mia Puavase from the Cowboys. The losses are Carl Lawton to the Cowboys, Jamie Humphreys to the Rabbitohs, Brad Parker's retired, Aaron Woods is retired, Matthew Lodge is unsigned, Ben Condon is unsigned, and Jackson Pollock, he is also off to the Cowboys. My predicted team, and this is my predicted team, I don't think this will be the case. I've gone Turbo at fullback, but I also like the swing winger role that I mentioned last year with him.
I didn't mind that.
Tolu Kola and Lehigh Hopewadi on the wing. Those two, Lehigh Hopewadi, what a player. And Tolu Kola, I think he's got to be part of the best back line. Tommy Talau and Ruben Garrick in the centres. Luke Brooks at 6. Daly Cherry-Evans at 7. Taniela Paseka and Josh Alloway up front. Lachlan Kroger is going to miss the start of the season. He's been struggling with some nerve damage, but he's the best 9 when fit. Omoli Olakauatu, Ben Travojevic had a good start to the year, sort of dipped off a little bit at the back end. Jakey at lock. I'd love to see a world in which I don't know about his health because there are reports that a few teams stayed away from him because of the injury history with Takiaho and the knee.
Yeah, foot.
I'd love to see him, sort of be pushing for a starting spot. And the other big one is Jason Saab. I think Jason Saab will start in their best possible lineup. But for me,
you left him out?
Yeah, I left.
Oh, it's going to be hard. It's hard, isn't it? Well, that's good. It's good for them. Because Sabi, all those back fives, they need to just go at it every day at training. So that's a decent side, man.
The importance of yardage carries. Sabi can finish him as good as anyone. He's got the speed to burn. He can turn half breaks into full breaks, and half breaks into 4 points. But when it comes out of yardage, man, give me Tolu Kola and Leon Hopewadi in yardage.
Yeah, that's like I thought he's really improved on his play twos lately in the last sort of 18 months. Like just say when he first came, he was a little bit timid. He's quite tall, right? He's 6'6", he's 6'6", and there's a lot of levers to get. So if you're a good defender, you're getting under him, you're getting underhooks, you're driving him back. He just needs to run at spaces, not faces, right? And I thought he started doing that because then you got on the other hand like Hopewadi, who's half his size, seems to find his space a lot more. And Kola, I'm not sure. I think Kola should be a centre. I'm not putting him on the wing. I think he should be right side centre. But that's the beauty of having a gun back line because Sabi's going to be pushing for that right side wing because he can finish him. And I think one thing, if everyone's critical on him, is the play 2s and 3s. You fucking have to. It's one of the hardest jobs in the world now, wingers. That's why you're getting paid a shitload of money.
It's the same criticism that I have with Sabi that you have with Dom Young.
Yeah,
it's a similar thing where
it's annoying
sometimes, and he can get. Because he's so big, there's so many more levers and targets to get that you can get picked up. That's why I like Tolu Kola because he's got more.
He's fucking quicker and
he's not a complete like for like. He's got more of a Toto build. Nice low center of gravity.
Oh yeah,
it's like the bumpers up. He doesn't. Brian Toto is way more effective, but Tolu Kola's got the potential with that.
Yeah, I just think I like him as a center. Kola, I just think he's so like that one-on-ones on that right side. Him and Sabi got a good combination. Like, he can.
Garrick to Saab side.
Yeah, it's fucking hard because I think it's so important having such a good back three, right? Turbo's going to be doing his thing. Like he's 6'4", 6'5". He's big, but he can find space and he's strong. Sabi's like 6'6". You can really rip into him, right? And then you got Lehigh Hopewadi. totally different body build.
So you've got Saab in the team. So you've got Saab on the right.
Fuck, it's hard. I mean, like when I look at it and I go, I know how important play twos are, and I know which way they're kicking all the time. And even to Hopewadi, like he's not the biggest, so you can get 3 blokes around him, pick him up and drive him back if he doesn't find space. Sabi seems to find a little bit of space if he can get better at it. And just run really direct and not sideways because he's so tall and they can get him around the legs and just drive him back. He needs to get a little bit wider and really run his lines direct because otherwise he'll fuck up the set of 6. And they know and how important is that coming out of yardage, especially playing against Penrith and playing against Melbourne.
Yeah, and if you do a good job on Lehigh and then obviously Sabi or Tolikola, then you get to rip into turbo.
Yeah, proper. On play 3 and 4, you're going to get fucking belted. So they need to get that. They need to get that mixture right.
Yeah. All right, my key storyline for you, Mase, and I'm looking at this team and I'm thinking it's been progressing.
I like Manly.
Is this Manly squad finally in the sweet spot? I'm looking at maybe half a dozen, 6 or 7 players that are in that 50 to 150 game mark.
Yeah.
Hamoli Olakuatu, Tanyela Paseka, Ruben Garrick, Tolu Kola, all these guys that have now been in the system and played
70 to 100, yeah.
Got a little taste of finals footy, played in some big games, had expectations. Sabi's another one of them. And then they've got a couple of OGs in the right spots like Jakey, Tom, and Ches in positions.
And Brooksy, he's 200 game plus. I think it's big on Paseka, man. There's a lot of pressure on that guy. He needs to live up to his expectations. 6'6", 120. Can move, can hit, can bang. He's fit. Like I need like 25 games out of him. Like minimum, like 160 a game, meters and hitting people, right, and just being really consistent. If he does that, he'll end up with a rep jersey. And Josh Alloway, he's just tough. Yeah. You know what you're going to get out of him. The back row, Benny Trebojevic is good. Olakuatu's an absolute fucking beast. He's just going to get better and better.
Vice captaincy as well.
See, it's fucking great. You know, it's beautiful for him. Yeah. So I think his game's going to go to another level if he can. He's that freakish. But I think it's the front row. It's the front row. They need to really dominate the middle. If they don't dominate the middle, you can't rely on Jakey to do that. Jakey's going to clean up all around the joint. He's just fucking clean up man, 50 tackles. Like he'd have 70 involvements, you know. He's going to be touching the ball 20 plus times. He's the connect guy for Ches and Brooksy on both sides. But Paseka and Alloway, especially Paseka, he needs to be taking the alpha on that other side and fucking going at him every single game. And someone needs to be just telling him that every game. And if he doesn't do it, then he'll get dropped.
I was talking to, not going to get dropped, but
not dropped, but like you lose your starting spot. Yeah. Like if you don't take, just say if we're playing the Roosters or Penrith and all right, go at Leota. Yeah. That's your job. Yeah. Go at Leota. You stop Leota. If you stop Leota from making 180 meters and you make 180 and he gets 100, we fucking win most games.
I talked to him about at Chez's wedding about Aden. I was like, fuck, what about how Aden in that Tongan camp because it's part of the Tongan team in Australia. I was like that's you, bro. Like we were just talking about how good Adam was going, but I'm like, man, like nothing can stop you from fucking doing that. I said, me and Mase always speak about you on the potty.
No,
I was like, for us, you're the key. I was going, bro. Like I was blind too, by the way.
Doesn't matter. This is the truth, mate.
And I was just going, fucking tell her, Tanyela, like that Bulldogs just run over cunt.
Yeah,
just run over people.
When he decided to fucking have a crack at us, we're like, God damn it, he's figured it out of all games. I was like, fucking do it at round 10 or something. But
he had a good season.
He had a sneaky good season, but he had
a good game against the Roosters at the start of the year too.
It's consistency with him. Yeah. It's week in, week out, grind of NRL football, right? Yeah. It takes its toll, but you need if you're in that position, you're that big and strong, no one's going to fuck you up. There's no fear factor in the game anymore apart from what? Fitness. No one's going to knock him on his back.
No.
Like he's too big and he's too strong. He's got good footwork and he just needs to fucking, as soon as he crosses that white line, you turn into a fucking animal and he'll dominate the game. You got Olakuatu out on that edge there. It's a very well-balanced pack. Alloway just does all that tough shit in the middle. But Paseka's got that X factor. I always said it. He can break games apart. He's done it. He showed glimpses of it. I just need to see a whole season.
All right. Well, I'm excited for this team this year. I think they are in their sweet spot. They're in for a big year. And
I need the hooker needs to be fit.
Yeah, Croker needs to get back ASAP.
He's a fucking 60. He does a lot of shit work.
You know who I'd like?
God, his body must be banged up.
Yeah.
Fuck. He made more tackles than me.
So they've got Simpkins. They've got Simpkins and they've got Gordy Cam Chung Tong.
Yeah, they could do a job for him. You just need Croker back.
Yeah, those two guys I reckon are 14s.
Yeah.
Whereas like Crocs is a proper starter. All right, that's it for this week. The last one we'll be doing on Monday, and then we'll be giving our predictions next Thursday. We didn't get many questions this week with teams, maybe because they're the distant teams.
It's a shorter week. They only had 1 day to comment too.
That's a part of it as well. But also, coming up next week, we are going to be doing the Beaches Division, which is Souths, Roosters, Cronulla, and the Dragons. What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, call 1-800-858-858 or visit gamblinghelponline.org.au.
Enjoy your weekend, guys.